Hey, this is Brett. So I'm doing a squat, and squats are a good functional movement. I wrote down a bunch of poses that I think will help with squats. So I'm going to do a survey of poses, and then I might do a few. But then over the next few videos, I'll sort of emphasize things that will help you with squatting. I'm going to start with the hips. All right, there are a lot of poses that you might use to help loosen your hips. So let's go through a few of them, and I'll be doing them from this direction. The most obvious one to me is blaster. Blaster is, I've said many times, one of my favorite poses. You start in a tabletop, and this is one option. There's other ways to start, but this is how I start. This is how I learned it. There's other ways. So I'm going to take, for example, my right foot and swing it forward, and I want to have, notice I want this to be at least perpendicular or even forward. Then you can turn it out. So I've got that way, 45 degrees. And then you put your back foot as far back as you can handle it on your knee. And then you rest into it. Now, when I started doing this, I used support. Actually, this is a great way to start learning how to do this pose. This allows you to support yourself. But, oh, I'm getting a really good stretch right there, actually. Yeah, that's really good. So this is not about can you hold it. I will say that as you practice it over time, your arms are going to get stronger. But we're trying to get stretched here. And so start high, work your way down, work your way down. Maybe use bricks. Work your way down, down, down. And normally when I start this pose, I'm up here. And then by the time I'm done, I'm a little bit lower. But this does not necessarily give me a more intense stretch. Sometimes just by bringing my torso back, I'm getting more pressure here, so it changes the stretch. So play around with it. Now this is an asymmetrical pose, and while I didn't do it for very long, I'm still going to do it on the other side. When you do a pose like this, do it on both sides. One thing you might consider, if one side is particularly more tight than the other, do it longer. Maybe do it a minute. Maybe do 4 minutes one side, 5 minutes one side, or 1 and 2. I'll get to time in a bit. So again, I jumped ahead of myself. I'm in the tabletop, take my left foot, swing it around to that side, slide it forward, rotate out, up to 45 degrees. It's okay if this leg falls backwards. And then this is a nice version of the pose. The chair was a nice version of the pose, but the cat has the chair right now. You might find that this is a little bit different. You could add twists and such, but for right now, this is good. This is going to help with the squat quite a bit, and also it's going to just help a lot of things. So that's blaster pose. Now, another pose that I do quite a bit is pigeon, and there's several variations on pigeon, so I'll look at some variations. So first of all, there's good old traditional, if you've ever done yoga class, pigeon. And you could be up here, you could be down here. They give different stretches, but they're both excellent. You could do something where you're doing a twist, but honestly, that's really good to stretch the front of your leg, but I'm going to show you a better pose for that. So I would recommend stick to this kind of a pigeon. And again, asymmetrical, that means there's two sides. If one side is particularly tighter, in my case, it's the left side for most of the things, I would do it longer, but there we go. Now, while I'm in this for just a few seconds, longer, what's the time frame? Time frame, 2 to 5 minutes. It takes about 2 minutes for you to start to turn down the nervous system response, of the reflex response of the nervous system. You do that through breath and through relaxation. And we'll talk about that in a bit. So 2 minutes is about the minimum time. 5 minutes, beyond 5 minutes for most poses, probably you're better to move on to a second pose. You'll get more bang for the buck. In hip stuff, I would hold longer, but for the most part, most poses, 5 minutes is a good place to stop. All right, so that's one version of pigeon. Now, there's half pigeon, which that is often called half pigeon by some people. But here's a good example of something. I've showed this before, but I really like doing. I do this all the time. Imagine I'm watching TV. Hold this for 5 minutes. It doesn't feel like much right now, but after 5 minutes, it's going to feel like something. Does it feel like something? Add just a little bit of weight. Asymmetrical, one on each side. Now, when I started doing this, my knees were up here. Just let it sit for a while. Over time, your hips will loosen. Now, this next one is a little more grueling. Double pigeon. So I'm going to put one foot down. And one thing, I want this foot to be perpendicular to my back. All right. And then I'm going to take the heel of my other foot and put it on top. Now, some people might be up here, and you might use bricks or something like this to support yourself, and that's completely fine. Do it here, do it there. But slowly over time, and oh, I'm really tight right now. Slowly over time, you lower and then you lean forward. You might put a pillow under your bum to help yourself lean forward a bit. Again, asymmetrical. And the key here is you want to see a triangle of space. You lose a lot of the pose if this foot comes back. So I've got a triangle right there. In this case, this is my looser side. So that's a little more fully exposed or expressed. All right, let's see. Last one in this set is butterfly. Now, Penny, don't do that. Very good. You did a really nice job of controlling yourself. Nice job. Good girl. Okay, now, the way we do butterfly, since we're trying to stretch and hold for a long time, I'm going to put the feet further ahead so the knees are more flailed out. 1, 2, 3, 4 is good. 3.5, 4.5. I got you on lead for a reason, sweetheart. And then from here, I'm going to lean forward with the puppy. Now, I sit like this when I'm working a lot. I'll sit, in fact, this is oftentimes how I am sitting when I work. I've got a desk I can pull forward. So, start. But this is a good thing you can do just to practice. So you're up here, fine. Over time, slowly. No ma'am. Hey, stop. You got plenty of stuff to chew. No ma'am. Thank you. Let me give you something else. Okay, I'll distract you and give you something else. So this is a good thing to do just passively when you're watching TV. All right. Here, let me give you something else. I'm going to get you off here. Here. There you go. Yeah, get that big bone. You love that big bone. So that's the hip section. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about are ankles. Why are ankles important? Okay, so when I start to do the squat, sometimes I'm not able to go all the way down with my feet flat on the ground. So let's say I can right now. So feet flat on the ground. If I'm going to make my feet a little bit wider, spread them out. That's a bit tough, but mostly because of my hips. But I need ankle strength and flexibility. So one thing you can do is I can use just a little bit of elevation, and all of a sudden it's a lot easier. There's a place where I walk my dogs, and there's a little bit of a hill. I'll just sit like this for several minutes while I let the dogs play. So nice functional movement. So what I'll do is I will do 2 different poses to help with my ankles. First one is pins and needles. So I curl my toes under and I sit back on my heels. That's the pin part. The needle part is you do something with your arms, but if you're looking for if you're looking for primarily working on the squat, this is what you do. Turn around because the dog is in the way. So curl the toes under and sit back on your heels. Again, 2 to 5 minutes. Now, it turns out this also will give your feet some flexibility. It'll stretch your arches, which will eventually help your calves. Okay, now, another pose is hero pose. It does dual duty. So this is plantar flexion. I'm sorry, this is dorsiflexion. This is plantar flexion. So when we're doing this, we're dorsiflexing our ankles. If we point them, we're plantar flexing our ankles. So hero pose, you lean back onto your heels, sit back with your feet pointed. If you can't go all the way back, you might start with a brick or a pillow And slowly over time, work your way down, work your way down, work your way down. Once your bum is, okay, okay, you need to move. Thank you. Over there. Possibly still in the way. So as you get your way down, then you spread your feet. And your bum continues down onto the ground. And honestly, this is all you need. So this is doing dual duty. First of all, you're getting your ankle stretched. Second off, this is also getting stretched, which when you come into the squat is going to need to have some flexibility. So this is really nice. Also, this is helping your knees handle the full flexion that you'll do in a squat. So this is doing, I guess, triple duty. So this is a really good one. This is a really good pose. Okay. Now, what we'll do now is we'll look at the front or the anterior chain. All right, so there's two I've got here, and Hero was one of them. I actually had that twice. It's interesting. And the other one was Jackknife Blaster. So Jackknife Blaster, I'm going to put by, imagine this is a wall. This will work for a fine. I'll move this in a little bit. What you do is, and this is asymmetrical, I'm going to put my knee right into the corner of the wall. My shin is on the wall, in this case on the couch, same thing. Now, this might be all you can do, and that's perfectly fine. You're going to be stretching right here quite a bit. Slowly over time, you bring your leg up, much more of a stretch here, and then over time, maybe I use a brick to elevate, and then maybe I eventually go like so. This is attempting to drop my hip. So right now, oh yeah, that's really nice. Huge stretch all the way along the front of my leg right there. Again, really good for when you come into a squat. Now, this leg, you can actually drop this and pull this one forward, but right here, this is a really excellent stretch. You're gonna have to get used to the pressure on your knee here. This can have some pressure pain, totally fine. Maybe I use a pillow for that. I've gotten used to it, so it's not that big of a deal. Again, asymmetrical, so other side. Again, knee up against the wall. You want the knee, hi sweetheart, against the wall because that protects it. Next thing, you might be on the ground. No, that's not for you. No, ma'am. Okay. And then you might have your foot up. And this is not about going back. This is about dropping and stretching right here. Okay. What you got? Why are you biting your foot? You got something going on there? Huh. What's going on? What's going on? Okay, let me tell you what. Let me give you something else. I'll eventually get through this list of stuff. What about that one? Or this one? It's going to be a great video. Okay, now. Next two are good for, so if you want to be able to stretch backwards and forward, sometimes when I try to go forward, I get really tight, but I might, for example, stop here. That's pretty good. And then slowly over time, I lower, and then maybe I lower, and then eventually I start to relax into this and really relax down. Now, why is this important for a squat? This is really good for two things. One, stretching the spine, but also stretching back here. This needs to be loose when you bend your knees fully. This is not an asymmetrical pose. This is a symmetrical pose. Work your way up to 5 minutes. Okay. Next thing is going to be difficult with the puppy, but I'll try doing it anyway. So it's called flamenco. Penny, you need to move. Go over there. Thank you. I know she's going to come right back, but okay. So flamenco, there's three varieties of it. Back off, you. You are too cute. All right. So flamenco on my back. I tend to use a cord or strap. You might do something like where you twist it several times so you don't have to actually use your arm, but slowly over time, your arm will get stronger. Other leg is straight out, head on the ground. I normally use a pillow. Hold this for 2, 3, 4 minutes. Now, with the puppy, seriously, Penny, this is going to also stretch the back really nicely. There are two other varieties. One is you go out to here, and again, hold it for 2 minutes. And the other one is you switch over and switch which arm is doing the work. Hello. Yes, I know you're kind of being a bit of a pain, honey. Yes, you are. You're being a cute pain, but you're being a bit of a pain. This is asymmetrical, and I just showed you three varieties. So if you end up doing both sides, that's 6 poses, right? So that was 3. On this side, number 1, number 2, and then number 3. Okay, it's called flamenco. Now, the last thing you might do is actually just practice the squat. Now, I haven't got any good examples of how to do this, but you might have, say, a pole or something you can hold on to. So I'll actually use I'll just actually use this chair. That's something you might try. I'll do it here. You can't do the full squat, but what you might do is you might just use this to help balance and hold here. Now, if you can have something that you can actually hold on to and lean back, this is not a good example, but if this were sturdy, I can use this and allow myself to lean back. Now, so you might use something like this to sort of work on a squat slowly over time, slowly over time. And eventually it becomes a comfortable position and you've got full range of motion. This is good for your knees. It's good for so many things. It's good for your prostate, for your guy. So I kind of recommend doing a lot of these poses. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a few of these poses for real, and then I'm going to call it a night. So given the pooches here, I think I will do hero or lightning bolt. This is safe with you around, Penny. So knees together, feet apart, bum goes between my heels. Now, slowly over time, my bum's going to hit the ground and maybe I'll lean back a little bit, but leaning back is strictly unnecessary. It does extend the stretch here, but I'm getting a really good stretch in my ankles. Again, these are plantar dorsey, so the pointed plantar. Are we playing pole now? Is that what's going on? Yeah, we're playing pole. Hold on for a second. Come here. Let me check something here. What is that? think that's just true set. Yeah, that's on the fur. It's not actually on the skin. Yeah, but that's better. There you go. Okay, come on, you can do it. Yes. Yeah, but I'm recording. Can I have a few minutes? All right. Okay. Maybe I'll take care of getting whatever mommy needs, and then I'll call it a night. What do you think, sweetheart? Just a few more minutes. Actually, let me do this side. Okay, just stop. No. Uh-uh. No, wrong way. There we go. Thank you. I'm I'm gonna do this. I can't take it from you. No, I cannot. But you can sit on me or step on me. Sure. I'm gonna call that a night. Oh, no, don't do that. Stop. I know you're gonna destroy that, but ooh, relax my knees first. Okay. Good night.